Hi friends, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking all about audiobooks. When I tell you I felt so immersed in that story, the audiobook really helped to speed that up and get it over with in the best way possible. I found audiobooks help tremendously. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about where I listen to my audiobooks, why I like listening to audiobooks, as well as books that I've listened to in the past and books that I'm looking forward to. And then towards the end, I'm also going to be giving you some tips and tricks to listening to audiobooks. Before we get into this video, give it a like and subscribe down below. That way you don't miss any more of my videos. And let's start with the first thing, where I listen to my audiobooks. Now, I personally listen to my audiobooks on Spotify. I have the premium membership, and I actually had Spotify before they did the whole audiobooks. So once they did, that's kind of what got me started into listening to them, because you get 15 free listening hours per month. So however many books or chapters makes up that 15 hours, that's what you get free with your membership. Now, you are able to purchase extra hours, which I had never had to do this before. I usually can get in the amount of audiobook listening time that I want per month, but recently, I actually did look into this because it was getting towards the end of the month and I still wanted to get a lot of books done. I was driving a lot. I was still working out a lot. So I listened to audiobooks during all of that. So I went ahead and looked online, and it was $10.99 in order to get 10 more hours of listening time. So those 10 hours will carry over into the next month if you don't use them. Say I only use about 5 of those listening hours in May, the last 5 will just carry over into next month and I'll have 20 listening hours. Hopefully that makes sense, and I really enjoy it. Now I'm going to talk about Audible as well, because I have never used Audible. However, my dad does. He has the membership for it. So I'm going to talk about pricing and what you get with Audible. With Audible Premium Plus, it's $15 a month and you get 1 credit and access into the Plus category. I assume that's just a bigger variety of book choices. Now, they do also have other memberships that you can choose from. If you get Audible Premium Plus for 2 credits, it is $23-ish, like $22.90 something. So $23 per month, and you get 2 credits. Or they also do the annual fee, so you can just pay for the whole year, and that is $150 and you get 12 credits. So that's 1 per month, or whenever you really want to use them, is my assumption. I was just researching a little bit and I found that they do have a 24 credit option, and that's $230 per year. You get 24 credits a year, member only deals and discounts, and then you also get access to the Plus category. Now, just from my dad, I also know that if you don't use a credit, it just kind of adds up. So say in last year, I only used 6 credits. This year, I would get 6 extra credits in my membership. So they do carry over and you do get to use them. I don't know if they expire at any point, but that is Audible, and I have been interested in trying it out, but right now Spotify works for me, so that's what I use. The next thing I want to talk about is why I use audiobooks or listen to audiobooks. Now, like I said, I was never really an audiobook listener at all until I would say within the last about 2 years-ish, and primarily because that option became available on Spotify. So I was doing a lot of training for my half marathon, and I decided, why not listen to the book that I'm reading when I'm training? So I tried it out and I really enjoyed it, because I cannot express how nice it is to be able to get done so many things, but also tackle my TBR pile or my reading for the day. I enjoy it so much, I have no words. Now, different books make me feel different ways with the audiobooks. Some of them are really, really good. Some of them I'm like, it could be a little bit better. And we'll get into that with some of the books that I've personally listened to. But I really listen to it if I'm in the car or if I'm training, running, walking, because I'm able to still get through my book, but I'm also doing something healthy or good for myself or passing the time, however that may look, as well as cleaning my room. A lot of the time I will just put on a book instead of like listening to YouTube. I'm getting my reading done as well. So it's kind of a combination thing because I do enjoy listening to books, but also with this kind of job slash hobby, I need to be getting books done throughout the month, and this is a way that makes it a little bit easier for me. Getting all of that out of the way, now we're going to get into some of the books that I have listened to, and if there's things to point out, like things I loved about that audiobook or things that I did not love. That way, if you're interested or if you have this book on your TBR cart, maybe you can start it on Spotify or Audible or whatever streaming service you want to, and you can kind of enjoy it as much as I did. So the first book, I can't remember the order in which I have listened to audiobooks or what audiobooks I have listened to, because I have not found kind of a section that shows me the books I've listened to, so I kind of had to just go off the top of my brain. The first recommendation I have is Anything by Abby Jimenez. Now, I'm gonna be honest, 99% of the books that I have read or purchased from her, I have listened to on audiobook. Because it's included in the premium membership, that's usually like a go-to for me if I'm working out and there's a new Abby Jimenez book or a book I have not listened or read yet. It's hers that I put on. There are usually two characters, so if there's a male and a female main character in the book, there is a male and female voice actor for the audiobook, which is very nice because it splits up the chapters really nicely. You get more personality and characteristic with that. One thing I will say that I don't enjoy, and I don't know if I'm alone in this, is when the guy tries to mimic or pretend to be the girl like speaking. I find that so cringy and weird. I wish, and I know it would be so much harder to do, but I wish in the chapters, if the girl is speaking, the girl is, and if the guy is, the guy is. But it's really just, if it's the guy's chapter, he says everything, and that means if the girl is talking, he's like pretending to be a girl with his voice, and I just I find it so weird because it's usually like childish or like high-pitched, and it's just something I wanted to note because if you agree with me, let me know. But Anything by Abby Jimenez, I really enjoy on audiobooks just because you get more personality, and I feel like I enjoy the books a lot more. It makes it feel more real. I can put myself into that spot or that location, whatever that might look like. The next book is actually something that kind of made me want to make this video because I had not listened to a book like this before, and I listened to Beautiful Ugly on audiobook. When I tell you I felt so immersed in that story, I don't even know how to explain it to you. The voice actors were from London, or they had that London accent, and I'm gonna be honest, I knew going into it when I started that it was kind of taking place somewhere else because they go to like an island in Scotland, but until they started speaking, I was like, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, I have not listened to a book that literally had the accent of where they were from, because a lot of the books just take place in the US. So I loved that they were from England. That was one thing I loved. The second thing is this book takes place in two different timelines. There's like the past and the present, and every time it kind of switched, there were ocean noises because it's taking place on the island now, or if he was on the phone, it made it sound like they were on the phone, like it was muffled, or you could hear. It just was so immersive, and I was mind blown. It made me enjoy that book so much more because of it. And so I remember I was walking indoors because it was winter at the time, and there was a train noise or like a bell, and I'm walking, and now imagine I like hear a bell. I literally, my mom was behind me. I turn around and I'm like, where is that noise? It's in my audiobook. It's in my ear. That's where that noise is coming from. So that just gives you a little insight to how amazing and immersive that book was for me. Highly recommend if you want something immersive, or maybe like your first time trying an audiobook. Very, very cool. So Beautiful Ugly. Some standalone like single books that were just thrown in there. Beartown, First Time Caller. I really enjoy when a book has so many characters. An audiobook really helps to split that up a little bit because it can get kind of confusing. And I think Beartown, that's kind of how it would have been if I didn't listen to it on audiobook. And the pacing was a little bit better because I felt like if I would have read it, it would have went so slow and I would have been so confused, whereas the audiobook made it a little bit more fluid, and that was really nice. First Time Caller, it was similar to Beautiful Ugly, where every break in the chapter was like a part of their podcast in that book, and it did like the radio noise, and then it sounded like they were coming on the radio, and I really liked that. The Nightingale, because it took place in France and Germany, the accents and the personalities really came out in just the like 2 or 3 chapters I listened to. I'm glad that I did that, because I feel like going through like the first half of the book, you kind of make up voices in your head or you think about how they sound, but then listening to it on the audiobook just put so much into perspective. It truly painted the rest of the picture for me, and it made that book towards the end really good because I had that image or that voice in my head when I was reading the physical copy. We have Powerful, The Ex-Vows, The Naturals. These were just random ones that I was either driving a lot to my boyfriend from my boyfriend, or I was cleaning, or sometimes I listen to audiobooks when I can't get through it. If it's just a slow book and I'm like, let me put this on audiobook and just listen to it so I can at least get other things done. That was those books. I have been listening to Every Summer After actually just today, and I like it. It's our main character, so it's just one voice actor, but that's okay. Emily Henry, I usually don't listen to her audiobooks, and the first one that I did was Book Lovers, and 2 voice actors. Nothing unique about it, but I did enjoy it. And then Red Queen was one that was a little tough for me to get into, and I think the audiobook really helped to speed that up and get it over with in the best way possible. We have 2 more sections. The next one are tips and tricks. So I kind of talked about how it helps to speed up the book. When I listen to an audiobook, I listen at 2 times speed. I will sometimes like start a little lower, so I'll start at like 1.3 times speed, and then if I feel like I can understand it just as much at 1.5, I'll jump it up. Now 2 times is usually my max. I don't go any faster than that because I will not, take in any of the information, but it's usually between like 1.3 and 1.8, I would say, is my normal. And it just helps because if you listen to an audiobook at the normal speed, it is so miserably slow. And if you're able to do that, kudos to you. I cannot. I feel like I could read 3 pages in the time it takes them to read 1 because they are doing the breaks, or if there's a pause, there's a pause, like a long pause. Or between chapters, they leave like seconds worth of like nothing. That way okay, it's a new chapter. Seconds, chapter 12. And it's like, okay, yeah, I knew that. Can we keep going? So I speed it up. If a book is slow or really hard to get through, I found audiobooks help tremendously because I don't feel like, oh my gosh, there's so many other things I could be doing right now. This book is like the pace of a sloth and I'm just not getting through it. Usually if I transfer that to audiobook, it's a little bit easier for me. So that's a little tip if you are having difficulty, or if there is, maybe you're having that trouble and you're like, okay, maybe I'll try an audiobook and see if it helps, and if it does, great. If it doesn't, then you know you tried. But those are just a few tips. If you have any more, please let me know, because I could always use some tips. On to the last part of this video. Books that I'm looking forward to reading. Now, they're always updating on Spotify books that are included or new releases, and I will say some of them are included in premium, some of them are not. So if you find a book and it's not included in premium, you will have to purchase the book if you want to listen to it. I don't know if that price varies depending on the book. I'm not sure, because 99% of the books that I want to listen to are included in premium, so I don't have to do any extra fees. So these books that I'm going to mention, I know for a fact are included in the premium membership. So if you have Spotify and you want to listen to any of them, they're on there. And I usually try to do like a little check every month just to see what's new and what's on there. And if I ever have like a TBR shelf that I need for that month, sometimes I'll go through and I'll just search them up and see, okay, this one's on there, this one's on there, so I can kind of pick and choose throughout the month. If I want to wait a little bit to where I'm driving more or I'm working out more, I can save that audiobook for later in the month. So the first book is The Favorites by Lynn Fargo. I will put all of the book covers on the screen. This book I've just seen so many great reviews on, and I've heard people really enjoy it. I don't know what it's about really. I've just seen that's probably going to be a good book because that's all I've heard from it. The next one, Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConney, I think is how you say it. And this one Destiny read not too long ago. I watched the video and it seems so interesting, like the concept of being on an island kind of away from everyone. I think that will be a really, really neat book to maybe listen to, and it leads me to believe that there might be that immersive aspect with water or whatever. I could be totally wrong. I don't know. The next one, Passion Project. I had been seeing this cover everywhere because it's so bright and beautiful. It wasn't something that really drew my attention other than just like looking at it, but I feel like I haven't seen a lot on social media or anywhere, or even in the store, truthfully. So this is something I want to look more into, but I know that book is on there. And the last one is actually a book that you might have seen me talk about if you watched my bookshelf building video, because I did an unhaul. And I unhauled this book. I actually haven't gotten rid of it, but I saw that it's on Spotify. So I need you guys to tell me if I should read it. And if you guys say it's worth it, then I think I'm going to probably start it on audiobook and see how it goes. And that's Assistant to the Villain. This is a book that I've had on my shelf for close to 2 years now, and I just don't pick it up. I don't know what it is. It's not like I've heard bad things about it. I think it's just one of those books that its time has come and gone, and it's just not on my radar at all. It's not a book that I'm excited to get to anytime soon. So I saw that on Spotify when I was looking, and I might pick it up. I'm not sure. Let me know, please. But those are the few books that I saw that I do kind of want to get into, and I don't know when that will be, but I'm excited. And yes, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any tips or tricks or books or anything to recommend, comment it down below. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to help, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.